Southern World.
And that makes the 30-second infamous countdown. What's up, y'all? Happy Tuesday. Happy Tuesday. Happy Tuesday. It is 8, 12, 13, 10, 11, depending on what time your clock says, but it is definitely time for some free thinkers. Happy Tuesday. We are happy to be back. Obviously, folks will be kind of joining us in here in a second. Denise is getting some stuff finished up. Q is logging back in. We always have fun logging in the beginning. There's always some interesting thing happening. So always bear with us those first couple of minutes. We just like to get everything in its places and make sure that they're marked as public so they can be shared and people are able to log in from Facebook or able to view us from the YouTube channel. So wherever you happen to be catching us from, there are live chat options in all of those spaces, be it my Facebook page or Q's Facebook page, the Freethinkers Facebook group page, or the YouTube channel. All of those places definitely have spaces in which you can join us in the conversation live chat. However, of course, it is open invitation every single week. We strongly encourage and possibly even pressure our friends and those of y'all who watch us to log in and join us live chat, join us in the live conversation. Just come on in and sit tight and listen for conversation. And when you're ready to jump in, or when you're asked a question and you're comfortable, answering, do so. But jump in and join us tonight. We're going to have a really good conversation. Last week we were not here because last week was one of our favorite segments, which is an in-person only thing. And that's the last Tuesday. So if ever you see the hashtag for the last Tuesday, that is literally the last Tuesday of every month where we meet in person. And traditionally, we've got one of our Freethinker family members up there, Chef Brent, has a food truck and runs the pavilion up at the food court lot on Howard Lane here in Austin. And they host our in-person every last Tuesday. So plenty of good food for purchase. It's a great time. It's very adult only, as are all things Freethinkers. So it's a great group of people that come. Ironically, the people that come to our in-person, you don't generally see here on our lives. And the people that come to our lives, oftentimes who are local, also don't necessarily come to the in-person. So tonight we're actually going to do what we've been doing now all of this year. Is we're going to piggyback with our live conversation from the conversation that was had with our in-person folks, because obviously the in-person folks are the only ones that had that conversation with us. And we do like to carry the conversation over to our live folks because, again, oftentimes they're great conversations and you never know what kind of feedback comes from the folks live. And we don't want our live folks to, miss great conversation too. So that's what we're going to do tonight. We're going to pick up from a conversation that we had last week in person, which was, how do you expect to find love? And it was an interesting conversation last night. So I believe initially last week, the idea kind of came from a meme that Q saw me post either in the Facebook group page or on my personal page about being single and, meeting people or not meeting people. And it just brought into this, this conversation, just this idea of, how do you expect to meet people then, right? And so that's where our conversation was at last week. And so that's what we're going to do this week. And then next week and the next couple weeks following, we've got some great ideas. Denise has presented some phenomenal ideas and topics. So we've got great conversation planned for the rest of the summer, realistically. But Q, if you'd like to add anything or get us going, I'm going to make sure my stuff is in the right place. But I think that's pretty much it. If you're watching us, let us know where you're watching us from. If you're on YouTube, make a comment. Let us see you. If you are on our Facebook pages, make a comment. Let us see you. Let us know where you're watching from. And please always, 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 always hit the share button. You cannot hit the share button enough. If you have not subscribed to the YouTube channel, please do. It's Free Thinkers Worldwide.
I can't hit the share button at all. That's what's pissing me off. That's if I got a weird look on my face. Then no, number one, I can't share, and then number two, even on your page, it doesn't show that you're live.
I don't know what they're doing to us. This is weeks in a row.
Last time, yeah.
I'm gonna have to sit down and do some problem solving, some Google internet search and see what's going on with the permissions, because it should be a lot easier to be able to communicate with us. If you aren't sure how to join live, you go to the Facebook Free Thinkers group page. It's pinned at the top. You click the StreamYard link, and it'll bring you right in, like it just did Yuhukanot. It'll bring you right into the conversation. Otherwise, in the Facebook and the Instagram and all the other streams, the YouTube link is in the comments, and you can go there, watch the video, and interact with us in the live chat over there. For sharing purposes, you can share the YouTube channel. So if you have not joined the YouTube channel, it's Free Thinkers Worldwide, and you can hit share over there. And hopefully by next week, we'll try to figure out something to try to figure out what the hell's going on. But in the meantime, we appreciate y'all for hanging in there with us and making it work and finding how to log in and spending your Tuesdays with us. Where'd Yuhukanon go? He disappeared. Okay, now he's back. All right. We got him in.
Get off this crappy site.
Yeah.
That's what it is.
But okay. Anyway, I had a doggone conversation. It's yeah. Okay, so did you have any Nikki, did you have any takeaways
What up, y'all?
last week? I
liked last week. Last week was fun. Last week was interesting. Last week was I think we spent a majority of the time really kind of addressing like our thoughts, our pros and cons, our likes, our dislikes with, online dating experience, those that used online dating, those that don't, meeting people in person, and then just kind of getting into some other questions about, just people's behaviors and traits and things about them that may or may not, be adding to, say, difficulty in finding love, right? No matter which medium you go about using, trying to find love. Particular takeaways, not necessarily Yuhukanon, you were there. Did you have any particular takeaways as a spectator from last week's conversation in person?
No, I'm gonna let the conversation go on a little further, and I'll see if I can pull any kind of takeaways while I was there. But I don't have none at the moment.
Okay, I got a question that I want to ask, and this is more based off of the reoccurring way that I keep teasing Nikki. So I want to have a question. I have a question based off of that. How do you, and this is for everybody, not just for Nikki, but how do you identify if you have an unnecessary disqualifier? Like, how do you identify what's necessary versus what's unnecessary? Do you have a process with that? Is that something that you've reflected on? Like, when you say, oh, they have to X, Y, Z, do you ever stop and ask yourself, is that something that I really need, or is it something that I just kind of prefer, or is it something that I've made up in my head that is ideal to me, but if I thought about it, it's not really necessary? Like, how do you identify what's a real disqualifier versus maybe it's not?
Hold on, y'all. I'm fixing my wig. I got to answer. I can't be looking crazy.
Camera back on.
I look a little cray. Okay, so recent events.
Transparency on this show is off the charts.
It looks good, though. You did. I mean, it looks great. It's beautiful.
We had to do a middle part. I don't know what was going on with this part.
Over there, looking like Kelly Rowland.
That's a compliment. Thank you. Okay, y'all. So what made me sit in my truth? I don't know if it was Free Thinkers or something, but y'all remember I was in love a couple of months ago with somebody. And
Mhm.
when I met them, it wasn't that kind of party, so I wasn't. They were like sitting down, and I was standing up when I met them, and then we exchanged Instagrams. But again, it wasn't that kind of party, so I wasn't checking them out like that. Long story short, we started vibing on Instagram, and I was like, he
You
might be
realize they were
five
short?
five. I was like, he might be five
So,
five. I
long
was like,
story short, pun
here,
intended.
long story short, he might be a short king.
Right.
And I am a 5'7.5". Okay, so that means I'm 5'8". And I like to wear heels sometimes, not all the time because this is New York, so you can't really unless you on your Sex in the City real hard. And I was like, I really like this dude so much, but I've only dated dudes for the most part that were like six something. Like my ex fiance was 6'3". The dude after that was like 6'2". The dude after that was like 6'4". And that's just like, I don't think I can do this. So then I had to like really ask myself, okay, what has me in this state of mind? Okay, this is probably
Mm.
some sort of like long standing thing that goes back to the caveman days, which is like if you had a taller guy, you were probably more protected. He could probably do more for you.
Mhm.
And that's probably why women wanted taller men back in the days. However, now a man can, provide shelter and protect you when he doesn't need to be six something. So then I was just like, damn, am I going to miss out on a good dude because I'm shallow and insecure? Because that's all this is now at this point.
Mm.
This is just insecurity on my part because I don't want to feel like a big woman next to some short guy. And so I
Mm.
had to sit in my truth. And I was like, oh, reprogramming my mind to like accept the short king. And then
Short king, fucking hilarious.
Nikki laughing a little too hard on that one. I'm just playing.
I was
For Q. I'm just waiting for Q to say something.
No,
Nikki
I'm
knows
listening.
Nikki's
I'm
a tall
listening. No,
girl
I'm
too.
listening to
Nikki's
Denise.
a tall girl too. She's a big fine stallion. So
Yes.
it's just like when when you're a big fine stallion, you do want to like more taller guy. But then I was like, dang, am I really gonna miss out on this good guy? This is so stupid and idiotic. So then I just started programming my mind, and I was looking up tall queens with short kings on the internet and getting their like testimonials and just like really thinking about it. I was like, does this matter? When I'm old and gray and I'm a grandma, will it matter that he's a short king? Or will it matter like how he treated me? Did I feel love? Is he a good father? Is he a good husband? And that's what made me accept him as a short king. Come to find out he wasn't a short king, but
Right.
I was willing to love him if he was 5'5", 5'4". I was like, you know what?
Ooh, okay. I was going to ask you a question, but it's probably not relevant now. Okay, well, moving forward, I think you vaguely kind
Said
of
I was
in it on
back on
your
my old thing. Yeah,
exactly. I wasn't
back on
trying
my
to
old
say it
thing.
out there, but okay. So yeah, I
Y'all
know
know I
that
be honest on free thinkers, y'all.
not completely relevant now, but even
Hmm.
moving forward, um, if that option does open up at some point in time, would you be you're saying you're now open to those possibilities?
Yeah. Yeah, because I'm like, wonder how many good short kings are out there not getting a chance that will probably treat me like a queen, but I'm just like hung up on some dumb shit. They probably got good jobs. They probably are romantic. They're hard workers. They have like this is what I know about short kings. Short kings typically, I feel like because they're short kings, they've had to work harder, so they have a different tenacity than some of
That
these
is true.
tall guys. Some of these tall guys are wimpy. No shade to my tall kings out there. Some of the tall kings, they are
True.
spoiled. They have no tenacity. They give up quick. They just don't even know how to be in the world versus like a man who's short, who's had to like, push his way through his
Right.
entire life. He's built different. That's,
Let me take it a step further, Denise. Just a
Just like
slide,
there's
a little step
privilege,
further.
like privilege.
Little. Oh,
Sounds like Nikki want to say something so bad.
and see that's not even where I was going. Denise brought that there. But I will say this as well. If a short king um sees your height and still comes up to talk to you, then that also shows a level of security within within his own self.
True.
There are
But it
some
also
short
means
people
he's
who
trying
are
to do some stuff
insecure.
with his. He's trying to make his kids tall. I know what they doing. I know they be looking at me like, oh yeah, we gonna have some D1 athletes.
Denise, you're not that tall. Okay? you're taking it too far.
Fine. Fine.
5'7.5" is not that tall. Okay, you exaggerating a little bit. Ain't nobody looking at you like I'm asking ball players.
Shots fired.
At least she can make him tall because
Shots fired.
he got no chance.
At 5'7", you not about to make the kids ain't about to be that tall either. 5'7".
He might be D1. Okay, go ahead.
They might. Okay, he with you then. He
Shots
get
fired.
the 5'2". They still ain't gonna be that tall. Okay. But yeah. So even the fact when people are willing to come speak to you, seeing that you are taller, that speaks to a level of their own security. So.
For sure.
Those things are all important. Those are just things to pay attention to. Okay. Before I jump, kind of sidestep that a little bit, but stay in the same category. Did you want to add anything, Nikki or Yuhukana?
Yeah,
that aspect of it, the height aspect of it, and then I'm getting back to the basic.
So the height in particular, and then go back to the question per se.
Yeah, then I'm going back to the question.
Yeah, so I mean, and we've talked about this because, there are people who clearly have an issue with my issue with height, right? But I am a tall woman. I am 5'9", 5'10" was my highest height, right? And that's barefoot. So, like, I do like to have a taller man, or at least a man that's my height. My height or taller. I don't care if you dead set, we eyeball to eyeball, but I could still wear a heel with you and, we'd be all right? But like, I genuinely would like to have a man who's taller than me. And, it's interesting that you're talking about these things, right? Because Short King is fucking hilarious, first of all. I almost don't even know. Because I don't know. I'm going to leave it alone. But I feel like, when you are a shorter person, I think that your view, no pun intended, is different, right? So it does make you behave, I think, inherently a different way because you know that you are not at the top of the food chain when it comes to the height factor, right? Most women are taller than you. Many men are taller than you. So you do have to overcompensate. It's like dudes with little penises have gigantic fucking trucks, right? Like, there's overcompensation for things. So maybe some of those men, may have some of those other qualifications, right, that I like. I've just never been approached by a man shorter than me that grabbed me in a way to where I wanted to get to know more. Like, truthfully, I just, for me, it really is. Attraction is first for me. I don't care what anybody says. And if you're shorter than me, that's immediately going to be not even a turn off because I'm not turned off. I'm not mad at you for not being taller. It just doesn't work for me. Like, I'm not turned on. I'm just not. Like,
that's a turn off. That's a turn off.
No, because I'm not turned off by it. I'm just not turned on by it. Like, it doesn't move me one way or another, but it definitely doesn't move me in a way where I get excited or intrigued.
No, it does. No, it does. It does move you in a way. It moves you away. You be like, nah, that ain't gonna. Let's turn off.
Yeah.
But it's not like
and you walk the other way. That's a turn off.
Yeah, it's a turn off.
But I would not engage in a conversation. I don't know. I don't know. I maybe so. There's just very rare scenarios where a short man approaches me, and maybe that's because he knows, right? Like, she's really fucking tall. She's not a 5'6" tall. She's not a 5'7" tall. She's really fucking tall. Like, and she's big, and she's got
really tall
energy. Like, unless he just has this thing about conquering tall women, which I don't want that fucking dude either, right? But like, unless he has this thing with conquering tall women, I just don't think that he would think that I'm giving a green light in that situation.
Y'all confused. So at 5, you are taller, but you are not tall. I don't know what. I know. Okay, so
5'2". Most girls are 5'2".
Like 5'5", 5'6" is average height for a lot of women.
Yeah, they go anywhere from 5'2" to 5'5", 5'6". So you being at 5'9", you're on the taller side, but that's not. And the reason I say this, like, okay, so yes, my wife is 5'9", 5'9.5" ish. She's on the taller side, but like the church that we go to, it's a church full of giants. She's on the shorter side. Like they have, there's more than probably 10 women that's easily over 5'11", between 5'11", 6'6'1". It's
That's
like,
and tall ass women.
Yeah. Now, once I guess once you get to the 5'11", 6 foot ish thing, and then you wearing heels, that's okay. Yeah, you tall when you up there. I just don't look at when you are around, when you are at or
stop it on these shoes. There's no fucking way I'm gonna stand next to somebody who's 5'5".
No, I know your point, but I'm just saying that 5'9",
my nipple range, and that's cool sometimes, but no, that's not cool for me. That's not cool for me.
Yeah, I'm not trying to make you okay with it. I'm just saying I'm y'all be thinking y'all tall when I guess when you look at, okay, if I'm wearing heels, then I'm 6 foot 6'1" then okay, well, yeah, you look tall when you're wearing heels.
I've never not been tall in a room of wherever I'm at. So, am I the tallest person in the room? No. Am I a fucking Amazon? Not necessarily. But
so for instance,
there's more times than none where I go out where I'm one of the tallest people in the whole fucking room. And it's very disheartening because I'm like, oh, look, I can see.
Disheartening? Why would that be disheartening? Because that's
people go. This is Austin. We used to be full of beautiful trees to climb. We got shrubs nowadays. We ain't got no tall trees no more.
What I'm saying is, if I am considered on the shorter side as a male, and you're considered on the taller side, what I'm saying is, you and I are no more than an inch and a half apart.
Okay, so you're my height.
So what I'm saying, from a male perspective, I'm shorter. From a female perspective, you're taller. But I'm not short, and you're not tall.
No, I don't think so. That's why somebody who's my height would be the shortest that I would be comfortable going. I could do my height, but it's got to be my height or taller. I like taller men.
Okay, so I get that. So and okay, so let's get back to the question side of it.
So
have you identified, kind of like what Denise was talking about, have you identified why that's a disqualifier for you?
I think just because I am a bigger woman, whether I'm the tallest or the not tallest, I'm tall, I'm large, I'm heavy, I've got big bone structure. Like, I'm just a big woman. I like my man to be able to grip and carry and
so do you feel less protected when you're with somebody who's shorter?
She said grip and carry.
I do. I do. And truth be told, I've only ever had big, strong men around me. My dad was fucking huge and strong, right? Like, my ex was very large and strong. Like, I've really only been around tough fellas. So I equivalate height and body size, to durability and strength and how good you can fight, to be completely honest. And those are important.
That's where you lose me at, Nikki. No, I'm saying that's where you lose me at for real though, Nikki, because me as a man who have to deal with other men, maybe it's okay. So let me give you and I'm just saying from a physical intimidation standpoint. Maybe when I was younger in high school, early 20s, I would look at taller people as though they had some type of advantage physically to be able to dominate somebody smaller. Once I actually learned how to fight and I knew enough people, your height ain't got nothing. And a matter of fact, like, if you get too tall, then it's actually a disadvantage for you. I know some people shorter than me that will run. I had this dude, shout out JT. He's like, oh yeah, he was like, I love fighting tall people. They so easy to take down. It's people that's my size that I'm more concerned about.
I agree.
But it's just like, I don't know. I learned over time that just the height thing itself, more of it has to do with girth. in a lot of instances. How much you weigh, your height makes no like actually somebody the same who weighs the same as me and taller, then it's actually a disadvantage for them. But if you're more solid, you're more girthy, you have more muscle, then those are people that you gotta kind of those are people who can defend themselves a little bit better.
I totally get that. I just need him to be bigger than me. I just like him to be bigger than me. Now maybe he's my size.
Okay.
You know, the person I spent the most time in my life with was my size. So he wasn't bigger than me. You know, but he's got to be my height or taller. He just does. Like I thought about it, and every time I've considered doing something that's not in my list of things I like, I'm disappointed, and I don't want to be disappointed with him because it's not his fault. I'm disappointed with me because I fucking knew better.
Well, okay,
Which was my point last week at our in-person, that I don't want to waste another person's time. And we'll get into that here in a second, but I don't want to waste somebody's time. Like, if I know ultimately, like, this is just not going to be it for me, I don't want to waste your time, man.
No, it's okay. So valid or not, you did actually answer the question. You said, hey, I don't feel the same security, or I don't feel like I'm protected the same way if it's somebody that's smaller than me. Okay, so valid or not, then that's still a reason. Now, if we go back general into the question, and we can we talked about the height part of it, but if you think about other disqualifiers that you have, in the same type of way, have you kind of examined what those disqualifiers are and why they're disqualified for you? Whether it's color, some people white or black, some people like light skin, dark skin, some people like thicker or slimmer, some people like straight hair or kinky, like some people like hood or bougie. I mean, there's different qualifiers or disqualifiers. Are there other areas that you've thought of and kind of examine, like, why is this a necessary for me?
I would say I'm mixed with the race thing, right? Because first of all, I just think black men are so beautiful. I honestly think that they're like top 2 in the planet.
Thank you. I appreciate it. I appreciate it.
No, I'm so serious. I'm so
Shout out
serious.
to you.
You're gonna like. Thank you. Like honestly, like they're just beautiful. Like everything about black men is just beautiful. And so that's number one. But then also like our understanding of how we exist in the world as black people is the other piece why I would prefer to date a black man. I think about dating other races, but it's just, do I want to go through the process of explaining a bunch of things and the cultural differences and like how it's like at your house during the holidays versus how it's like at my house during the holidays? And like, I feel like being in a relationship is already hard enough. But then when you add all the cultural pieces, it's like, do I want to do that kind of work? I don't know that I do. I don't.
Ooh, okay. Denise, so does that fall under the category of preference or disqualifier?
I'm gonna have to give it preference, because if some dude came into my life and he was not a black man and he had all this stuff going and I really, really liked him and he was a really, really, really good guy and we really got along and things were cool and I didn't have to explain blackness to him 24/7, like I'm not gonna, and I'm attracted to him. He's attracted to me. Like, I'm not gonna say no, but man, I know, I just know that would be a freaking job.
It would be hard because it's something, and this is what I'm hearing you say, kind of, and I'm kind of in the same category. Ooh, I love my black women. Oh my God, it would be so hard for me to imagine myself long-term, full-term with anyone other than a black woman. That would just be hard for me.
The black of the berry, baby. The black of the berry, the sweet of the juice.
Impossible.
I asked you that last week because that's a defining preference, right? And we all are entitled to preferences.
Hold on, but this is the difference, though. I am like Denise on this standpoint. If things merge right, if we vibe together, if we connect it well, if I'm also attracted to them,
right?
it doesn't mean it's a disqualifier, but it means that it wouldn't be in my natural propensity to engage or move forward relationally with a white woman or someone of an opposite race outside of Black. But just because it's something that I wouldn't pursue doesn't mean that it's a complete no for me either.
Right. Right.
I have a disqualifier.
If God just said everything in front of my face and clearly like, yo, this is your rib, do you see it? Are you paying attention? Then, if I close my eyes to that when it's clearly the right fit for me, then yeah. So no, there's nothing, it's like I said, that goes under preference. So preference is what I would reach out to, what I would talk to, what I would if I'm in the club, I'm gonna walk across the club to talk to this, and maybe some other people that I wouldn't. But
beeline.
that doesn't mean that if the right scenario set up and we connected and that no, you know what, you perfect, everything right about you, but you're white. I can't do it. No, I'm not gonna do it.
I got a few disqualifiers.
I got
Can y'all hear me?
that.
Am I audible?
Go ahead.
Yes, go ahead, sir.
Yeah, one, I have a foot fetish, so if she got hammer time in the toes, that's a deal breaker for me. I can't rock with that. The feet got to be flawless or damn near. And another one, the Smack brought this up, and I agree with him 100%. She can be, a dime piece. I have everything going for her, but when she opens her mouth, it's just nothing but garbage comes out. So she has to have a certain amount of intelligence and eloquence to come out of her mouth, and not just be talking like that she doesn't have, like she has a 5th grade level education or something like that. Like, everything that comes out of your mouth shouldn't be no curse word or something where you don't have enough in your vocabulary vernacular to express a thought. So those are my disqualifiers and deal breakers to me in regards to the type of woman that I would look for. Thankfully I have one now. Hallelujah to that's able to have a very good, strong hair on her shoulders, and the feet is immaculate. So I have no issue there. But those would be my like disqualifiers right there in regards to that.
I know
I'm with
you're
you
not the
with
only
the
person. I know
intimacy.
people who are big on the feet.
I'm big on
Yeah, feet don't
intellect
matter
as
to me, but I
well.
do know people that is big.
Hey,
But hold on, this is
Ivory.
something that I want to ask you, Yehukanan, because
What's up?
there you go.
No, what happened? We good?
You say,
Okay.
Oh shoot, is this me going out again?
No, you
Dang it.
go ahead.
Okay.
Oh, can you hear me? 'Cause I can hear you.
I can hear you, sir. Let me ask. I hear you. When you talked about just anything coming out of their mouth, are you because their mouth can deal with how well spoken they are. You can be well spoken but not intelligent, and you can be poorly spoken but actually be very intelligent. So are you talking about the brain intelligence part of it, or are you just talking about how they express themselves, their vocabulary?
How they express themselves in a cultural dynamic, as far as like talking, like if there's a subject matter that comes up, don't be all you can have that, but try and blend that in. Don't just come off sounding like ignorant, or like you just or dumbass. So,
You kind in and out.
Okay, I didn't know if that was.
am I audible? Can you hear me?
Yeah, but
Nope,
it's like
I'm
you kind
audible.
of sound like a
Yeah, I
robot.
didn't know if that was him or me.
He's mobile, so it might just be a crummy connection for a second.
Yeah. No, I'm
Yeah,
with
you
you,
might be in a bad
Huganon.
spot.
I see what you're saying. It's like, it's nothing wrong with cursing, but like, can you articulate yourself outside of that? Or is that your primary way of articulating a thought or anger or, whatever, passion? So I feel you on that, but I'm 1,000% big on
So,
intellect.
but Denise,
Mhm.
but let me say this, Denise, what if they are not just cussing and vulgar, but they just don't have strong command of the English language. Like, I'll give an example. I don't know if anybody, I know Yahuka and I know this, but like Lamar Jackson, people kind of misjudged him because he from Florida. He got that Florida twang. He don't speak very articulate like some people, but when he's very smart, extremely smart. One
I'm
of the
audible.
smartest quarterbacks out there.
We can hear you. Yeah. I don't mind you be like my man is country. Like I don't mind you being country or whatever and stuff like that. But you definitely have to have the intellect, and I would prefer for you to be able to have the vernacular when you need to.
Mm-hmm.
Like as long as you can convey what needs to be conveyed, then do your thing. But you got to be intelligent. There's no way around that. It just grosses. Like like a dude could be like you lose like 2 to 3,
Let me hold on. Let me
4
go
points
back. Is
when
it
you're
more
not.
like
Can I get it two shekels on that one? Am I clear? I just want to make sure I'm
We
clear.
can hear you now. Yeah.
Okay. You know that example that you brought up, Q, was like a
you
catch
are right
22
now?
because I know some. Damn, am I breaking up? Hello?
You sound good right now.
Oh,
We hear you.
okay. Because okay, it's kind of like a catch 22 because I know an individual that's straight from Florida. He talk country and all, but the way that he speaks, you can tell his vocabulary is extensive, as opposed to a Lamar Jackson who has education of higher institution of higher learning, but I guess he doesn't have that public speaking skill. And I know for in college or in the university, you know, that's probably one of the prerequisites as far as like, you know, being able to public speak. You can have the education and the eloquence or the vocabulary, but your public speaking may not be up to par. So that's something he can fine tune and sharpen as far as speaking in front of cameras or in the media or per se, or if somebody's speaking on the platform, you know, once they get into their comfort zone, you can kind of, you know, make out what they say, or, you know, if they talk in the way that they talk, as far as the slang or the hood language, you can kind of get where they're coming from. Because I've listened to a few people that, you know, may come off, you know, as far as like they don't know how to speak, but you can understand what they're saying. It's just they're expressing it the way that they know how to express it. You just got to kind of like, you know, get past that curve as far as like, you know, understanding where they're coming from.
Yeah.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Are you okay with that? Maybe they can be profound and intelligent, but they just don't.
Yeah, I'm okay with that, but you know, I'm gonna give you a real example. Excuse my French. Can you hear me?
Yes.
I'm gonna give you a real example. Don't be saying motherfucking shit, ass, and all that other stuff after every word, you know, that's in the English language. Don't be saying that all the time, like to complete a sentence. Like that's just you just sound stupid.
Yeah.
No, I agree with that.
Okay, hold on. I got a question, you Hukanon. Is that your same feeling uh when it comes to women versus men? Like I heard TK Kirkland one time talk about, not that I think his opinion is gold or anything, but I just heard him speaking about
I
how
don't agree with everything. He on point with a lot of stuff.
yeah, I mean he, you know, I'm just saying just as an example,
Who raised you?
but like thinking about, is it more so anyone or is it more women when it comes to swearing and things like that and cursing?
If men talk like that.
Well, in my position or from my perspective, it's more so the women. In yours, it can be the men. Because you say that is a big factor for you as far as they have to have some type of intelligence. So for me, it's the women.
Only reason I'm asking is because I've heard that men don't really view women that curse a lot as like that's not feminine to them, and so it's kind of.
No, I don't see it that way.
Femininity have anything to do with it at all? Is more intellect than anything. Okay.
Because I've heard women cuss up a sailor and whatnot. That doesn't make them any more masculine or anything like that. I don't even see it in that light as far as when a woman cusses a lot. You know, that just, you know, she just getting off the way she get off, and I'm cool with that.
Yeah,
I'm fine with that.
For me, whether men or women, it's about. Can you hear me?
Yeah, we hear you.
For me, it's about time and place.
That part.
We can cuss all day and night. I don't mind, but do
That
you
part.
understand the time and the place of when it's
Yeah,
appropriate and
got to
when
be
it's
aware of
not?
your surroundings. That's true.
Like, don't go high
Like
cute.
me, Nikki, Lay. If you go to the live meeting, you see, I cuss plenty. You'll have a hard time ever finding me cussing in front of children. Not only
Right.
cussing in
Yeah,
front of children, listening to vulgar music or having vulgar
man.
conversations. Even the
Right.
podcast I
Right.
listen to, I don't even
Okay,
listen
let
to
me
a
ask
lot
you.
of that
Let me
because
ask you
of
this question.
children, old people, or being in the company of people that I'm not familiar with. None of that is appropriate,
Okay,
in my
Mhm.
let me
opinion.
ask you. I want to ask you this question because you said something that was very key. You hardly cuss in front of children. What if you're to the point to where you're angry, upset, and man, you had to break in a boiling point? Will you still cuss in front of children? Because a lot of times we let our emotions get the best
Never.
of us, and it just comes out.
Children don't make me
So
that upset. Number one, I don't.
not not them,
Children don't.
not them, not them. Another adult or something like that.
Mm-mm. This is the thing, I have control of my tongue. So whenever you see me cuss somebody out, it wasn't because I lost control. I knew exactly what I was doing and I chose to cuss them out. And I wanted to cuss them out to make sure that I drove my point home. I don't cuss out of I don't lose control when I'm cussing. Whenever you hear me flip off, I know exactly what I'm saying.
Same.
I respect it.
Same.
Not same for me. I've probably snapped. Like, there's a breaking point for me where I'm actually out of control.
I mean, it's not good. As much as I cuss, right? Like I don't cuss like at my man like that. You know what I'm saying? Like I don't cuss at people like that. Like I'll cuss in a conversation about things.
Right.
But I don't actually like cuss at people, right? Like I don't. No, no, don't
Right.
get me wrong and say I haven't cussed at people because I absolutely have. However, I just like to think of them as like exclamation marks and colorful highlighters sometimes, right? Because I have words. I've got lots and lots of words. I can use lots and lots of vocabulary, but I like to emphasize them in places where they're necessary. Um, Around kids, I mean, around my kids, I definitely have cussed. But again, I don't. I like to believe I don't cuss at them, right? Like I've never cussed out my kids. Like I've told them to pick some shit up or get the fuck on from this or that. You know what I'm saying? But like I don't. That's not also routine language. I don't cuss people out. Like I like to try to be intentional with the words that I use. So I rather, if I have to use the type of conversation that's going to get your attention, I like to use colorful words that aren't necessarily foul language, but I will throw a foul word in there.
Right. And
But
that's
like
one of the things,
I know
Cussing gets your point across.
I know when and where. But what's
there's better
interesting though,
ways to
because
do it.
people do generally look at me like I'm a lady that uses foul language, right? Like she's a sailor mouth. Like people think I cuss, right? Well, I do, but
So I think we
I
think
I do not like men that cuss. I don't mind men that cuss in a conversation in the same manner in which I do. But I don't like men that every other letter is or every other word is a cuss word. Like I don't like men that
right.
call women bitches unless she's literally a bitch. Like I don't like men that cuss. And I don't have a problem telling men like, hey, I really
You
don't
don't like
dig
that.
men that cuss like that. I like men that are conscientious about every fucking move that they make around good song, strong, solid, like the women that are not your regular ass chicks. Like I like men that are conscientious about what comes out of their mouth. So I'm super turned off by men that cuss around women, especially women that they don't really know.
Just on the side note, Nikki, even if a woman is acting or being a B, I still don't like men who say that.
And I
Yeah.
appreciate that.
And the weird thing is maybe, and this is something I think I guess the older I get, I still give half a pass to comedians when they use the
Right.
word quite often. But even more, I went to we was out over the weekend with my cousins. I went to an Eddie Griffin concert. It was funny.
Oh, yeah, that's right. You went to Vegas.
Yeah, it was
That's
real funny.
okay.
That word used by men is increasingly bothersome to me.
I agree. As I've gotten older, like I love a good misogynistic song from back in the days, but like if
Bitches.
it's from
Or you
yeah,
know
like
what? Let me
but
say this. Even about
now
songs.
it's cringy now.
It is.
Songs, I can deal with songs a little bit better because it's either not directed toward a specific person or it's not directed toward anybody that I know directly. So like even in the comedy thing, all right, if you making a point and you saying something, you use B word, okay, sometimes it could be funny. But even like, okay, some woman in the crowd said something and, you know, she kind of heckled and he responded back and he was using the B word in there. I'm like, he was talking directly to that person using the B word. I'm like, I don't like that. I don't like that.
Okay.
But yeah, I guess, you know, in general, because and let me be, I use the B word a lot. That's probably one.
I rarely hear you. I feel like I don't
I'm
hear
not
you.
referring to women when I use it. It's usually
But I
some
don't
old
even
wave
hear you use it like in conversation purposes oftentimes, like outside of obviously online. I don't feel like that. I always love and I giggle whenever you say the F word, but I swear I don't ever hear you say the B word.
Because, well, one of the reasons is because if I'm in the presence of women, I wouldn't want a woman to confuse it that I was referring to anyone like them. Usually I'm talking about another dude, or I'm talking about somebody who cut me off in traffic, or I'm talking about like, you know, but it's in the context of how some people use it, then that's never the context that I'm using it.
Some bitch ass shit.
Oh yeah. The BAN. Oh man, that's one of my niggas, like that's one of my one of my favorite combinations. Okay, let me hold on. Ivory, let me get to you real quick before we jump to the next part of this. So the question we was asking, how do you identify, or have you ever identified if you had an unnecessary disqualifier? So you had your whole criteria, what you need in a man. Have you ever stopped to be like, is this disqualifier necessary? Is it just a preference? Like, why do I have this, and should it actually be something that's limiting my pool?
No.
Really? Okay.
Oh no, I'm just thinking I was I mean it's been a very long time ago, but when I was people were up for consideration. I'm sorry, the screen was going out. I was all about just the feel of the vibe of a person, how I felt us interacting. I never had like a list.
So okay, so you don't feel like you had a lot of disqualifiers to begin with?
No, I was never like. Now, once I got in it, I could see like, oh dang, like this person doesn't feel like forever. Even if I like them a lot, I would have this doesn't feel like home. This doesn't feel like family. This doesn't feel like normal. You know, I can like you a lot, but you can like not feel like a forever kind of home feel. That probably was what I came to more after talking to people. Like, I can't see you kicking it with my parents.
Ooh.
I can't see you, you know, just the circles, the crowds, even though we have a good time when we by ourselves, like, will you ever fit my world was the problem I normally had with people. But it wasn't because I came in with all of that. It would just be like over time, like you don't feel like home. You don't feel like forever.
That's probably the only reason I would have had a hard time dating a stripper. Like the whole stripper part wouldn't bother me, but it's like, can you really be a part of my family, my whole family, outside of just me? And I wouldn't want to be a person that's trying to change you or trying to get you to, all right, they coming, so you got to act like this and you got to. No, I want you to be yourself. But I don't think yourself would fit our circle. So that was something that I'll be like, that could be tough. Long term, that could be tough. Now, the older I get, then the less I care. I'll be like, hey,
right,
surprise, mama.
right. I don't pay damn bills.
Occupation is a little unorthodox, let me tell you.
Okay.
Yeah, the older I get, the less I care. Okay, so all the disqualifiers. So anybody want to talk about any other disqualifiers before we get that out there? Even between Denise and light skin, dark skin, skinny or fat, Any other?
Yes.
Okay.
Now, I used to be a colorist whenever I was younger, but the older I've gotten, the more I'm like, I like all the flavors. I like all the flavors. I really do. I mean, the older I get, the more I really just appreciate blackness in every form.
True.
And however,
Well,
comma, a person who is obese, you gotta go. I will not date an obese person, and I don't want to even date an overweight person.
mm,
And let me tell you why. Because when I think about the long term and the
mm,
health conditions and all that, having to deal with, you got diabetes and now your hands tingling and whatever else, or you got high blood pressure and now we sitting up in the hospital because you want to eat chicken all day, fried chicken all day, and drink Coke all day. And then I got to sit up here and look across and look at my kids and be like, yeah. Or be looking at my grandkids and be like, oh, I wish I could have met grandpa. Oh, no. Oh no, you got to get from around me. And I like to be active.
right.
So you got to be active. So I could not, that is off the table for me. Completely off the table for me.
Let me tell y'all one
She
I have
said
easy.
another
that
one. Oh, I'm sorry. Go
emphatically.
Hold on. Let me
Dang.
add. Let
I
me add
want
this
to
in real
piggyback that
quick.
too.
One, I think, is an easy response to any of these criteria that I asked about disqualifiers. If one, so for instance, Nikki's no, they can't be shorter, and I keep asking why. If Nikki was like, I'm not sexually attracted to short people, that's all the reason I need. I'd be like, oh, okay. Anything that causes you to not have a sexual attraction, I think they're all valid.
Mhm.
I'm not sexually attracted to super dark women or light women or white women or tall people or heavy people, or like I'm sexually, I'm not. If you, by the time, it'll be hard for me to long term be sexually attracted to somebody that's under 160 pounds. I'd be like,
Why would you
ooh,
put that as priority in regards to saying, you're not sexually attracted to an individual,
because if
and
you're
that's
talking
enough
about,
for you?
no, I'm telling you, because if you're talking about trying to have a monogamous relationship and this is someone that you're only going to be with supposedly for the rest of your life, you need to be sexually attracted to them.
Agree.
And if you're not, then it is completely understandable why you wouldn't continue to try. I don't care how nice or emotional, how good of a conversation is. You can't
Right.
not be
Can I put a
not
caveat in
sexually
that though?
attracted to them. And yes,
Man,
go ahead.
I hope
Can I
you're
put a
going where I think you're
caveat
going.
in
I
that?
hope you're going where I think you're going.
Oh, I don't know if I'm going where you think you're going, but this is what I will say that I have learned. People need to challenge what their eyes, social media in general, society has told them they're supposed to be attracted to. Now, when
True.
I say that, I mean biologically, your body and your reactions sometimes are telling you, I like this. And your
Right.
mind is saying, I shouldn't like this. Like it's
Mhm.
saying they're
Mm-hmm.
too this, they're too short, they're too whatever. But your body is actually having a reaction to this
Right.
person. So when that happens, you need to challenge the bias of your brain
Mm-hmm.
because your chemistry is telling you something different and your body knows what it likes,
Absolutely.
sometimes even over
100%.
your head. So that's all.
100%.
Yeah,
That's the
let
only
let
That's when I
let
start
caveat.
telling y'all I like
let
fat women.
that let that short king come my way, and I'm physically sexually attracted to him. He can have a shot. He can definitely have a shot.
That's all I'm saying.
He can have a shot. But I just
And just
for
that you
me,
haven't ran in a minute.
I haven't, and for me, like I'm always like I'm always like a little bit envious of people who can say, oh, a person's physical attraction, like sexual attraction, that isn't the first thing that I look for. And I'm like, fuck, I wish I was that grown, and like maybe that I don't know what the word is to be able to say that I could love you even though I wasn't attracted to you greatly, right? Like I'm not like a fucking 10 on the scale of like bad women, right? But I have to be attracted to you. And as long as it's attractive to me, everybody else can think he's a fucking ugly rock, right? But as long as whatever it is about him has got my attention, man, that's all I need. Attraction, I agree with you, Q. Attraction is absolutely necessary. And I do agree with you too, Ivory, that we do need to be very mindful of, you know, what social media and programming is feeding us, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because I think a lot of people do get lost up in that, right? And that's why I think, for me anyways, I'm very proud of, even though my list is long and my preferential boxes are long, right? Like I just read something recently and I shared it on Free Thinkers Q. I was going to tag you and I don't think I did because it kind of went along with our conversation last week in
You
person.
got to tag me because you post like 30 things a day and I never
I
find it.
know, and I was on a roll this week, but I'll reshare it. I'll make sure that you get it. But it really talked about like the success rates of marriages of people who really and truly have a partner that have pretty similar aligned belief systems, likes, passions, hobbies, theories, you know, just two people who really do have a lot alike. And, you know, y'all were kind of giving me a hard time at the end of last Tuesday, but all right, well,
yeah, because Ivory.
let's build Bear Nikki's fucking man,
Okay,
right?
it's Ivory. They okay. Besides the short, then of course
They're
they
going
can't
down
be.
the list of all the things that my man is supposed to have or not have, right?
They can't
And
be
they're
a
all just like, oh,
Christian.
just get smaller and
They
smaller.
can't be a Trump supporter. And they can't have the vaccine. All of
But
these.
But at the end of the day, for me, right, and that's why I asked you last week, like, could you marry a white woman? And I probably should have asked you, could you marry, let's say, a white non-Christian? Could you marry an atheist woman, right? That's probably what I should have asked you, a much more direct question than just a white woman, because it's not that I can't find enjoyment or pleasure in somebody that has things that I don't necessarily subscribe to, right? But the things that I do subscribe to are almost as close to me as, let's say, biblical teachings are for you, right? That there's just going to be some shit that
Right.
we're just it's just going to be too different theoretically. And so while yes, I'm sure that my list is really fucking long and stupid to some people, those are the things that I believe in, and those are the things that make me ethically who I am, that make me principally who I am, that like I would have a really hard time with somebody who believed in systems that I don't, or subscribe to things that I think are fucking foolish. Like that just doesn't work for me. And I hate that there's probably a lot of really good guys that get crossed off the list just on compatibility, but I'm not a temporary person. I am a forever person. And I don't want to keep fucking around with the wrong people. So since I know what I like I'm just, that's the only thing that's gonna that I'm gonna allow at this time. And if it leaves me single for a long time, then I guess that's what was designed to be, right? That's the journey that I'm supposed to be on. But I think that knowing what you like is
Be
half
careful
of
with
the
that.
battle.
I don't. I got
I
something to
just
say, but be careful with. Don't be careful with that. It was supposed to be in there. I'm saying I have.
But I'm not gonna fight it though. I'm
Hopefully
not
they're
gonna
not
fight it.
watching. Hopefully they're not watching. But I have a lot of beautiful aunts. That
I have one too. I know where you're going with this.
Me too.
criteria
I got one
themselves
too.
out of a relationship for their entire lives.
I'm familiar with those people. I've been single now for like this year
But
is
hold on. But
it's been
let me
9 years, 9
let me
fucking
say this.
years.
I'm gonna say on this side of it, and I know it's not you. They are God-fearing, Christian, believing that everything has a plan for them type of people,
Right.
and they still plan themselves out of ever being in a long-term relationship because
Yeah.
they're too picky. I'm not saying that
I was
towards you.
gonna say this.
I'm just saying don't take that mindset that whatever is meant to be. And I guess part of the reason your initial post grabbed my attention because it really talked about what I grabbed from it. Some stuff you got to be more deliberate
Sure.
And I don't think people are deliberate enough when it comes to finding a partner and making sure that they're going to find a process that's actually going to work for them to get to the ultimate ends, where the means of it, what they're trying to get to.
Which was exactly the meme that you were responding to last week.
Right.
It basically said, how do you, I was trying to look it up on my Facebook. It basically said, and I said this at the very beginning, you talk to two people, you don't go outside, you don't leave the house, you go to bed early. Like, how do you ever expect to find somebody when you don't put any effort into, actually engaging with humans, which then took us into the conversation last week about how are we going about meeting people. So we got into the online dating. We got into just meeting people in online spaces versus, a bar or a club or a museum or a gym or wherever it is that we meet people. And the consensus was like meeting people online. Most of the fellas felt like the consensus that meeting people online was really not a very favorable or reliable way to go about meeting people.
And yeah, that's the part we're going to jump right into. Let me answer your other question real quick. Now, I'm pretty sure Ivory would not be willing to be in a relationship with somebody who don't have the same faith as her. I would have been like that maybe 15 years ago.
Sure.
Today, it wouldn't bother me today. So the thing is, when they talk about all the compatibility, I think the only exception for that is people who are okay with other, like, I have no pressure, or I don't press my partner to be like me, or I don't think we have to have the same beliefs or be in line with a lot of, there's some things you do, but a lot of things you don't. And the things that you don't, then I don't press for them. Like, hey, walk your path, I'll help you find your path, you help me find mine, and we work it out. But that part becomes because Ivory and I have different views of
The Holy Spirit.
The different views of heaven
We've
and
had
hell.
this argument before. It's not about heaven or hell. Well, our argument about dating somebody that was saved or not saved is what we think the role of the Holy Spirit is in our lives, in our interactions with people.
Okay, that's your part of it. And yeah, mine could be a little bit, and it's one of those. And yeah, we do keep going full circle. My grandparents married over 60 some years, probably close to 70, before they, and for 90% of that time, my grandfather was not a believer, but he never imposed upon my grandmother. She was a church treasurer, and she did the money, and she did Sunday school and all that, and he never once tried to stop her from going, or said it was stupid, or well, he will say it was stupid, but he ain't try to get her to stop.
Also, that was also
but I
not
think it works if you're not trying to impose upon the other person.
But that also wasn't an uncommon dynamic, though, 40, 50, 30 years ago, where, the woman lived in church, but oftentimes the man not necessarily. So that wasn't terribly uncommon.
But you have some people, you would have some men who would try to fight the woman before she go to church, or tell her that she can't go, or it was always a constant tension. And those are issues. If that's where you are, then yeah, y'all shouldn't be together.
Right.
Now, and that's even what the Bible says. If somebody becomes a believer, they not a believer, that don't mean you supposed to divorce them. If they okay with you being you, and you okay with them being them, have at it. Keep going.
I have two quick. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
You're probably on subject. I'm still kind of on subject, but go ahead.
Okay. Two quick observations. I was just gonna say, when me and my husband first got married, and it's not a deep kind of difference, but I probably was definitely leaning more Republican, and he was definitely more Democrat. As the years have gone on, we both hate them both, but that's not where we started. But I think the cool thing is, I thought he was like the smartest person I ever met, and he thought I was the smartest person he ever met. So whatever conclusions you came to, I just assume you have good reasons for it, even if I don't agree. And so there was never any disrespect, even though we disagree, because we just respect each other's minds. Second part, and this kind of goes into my point. If you meet the coolest person you've ever met and you're attracted to them, baby, that list, we'll see. I mean, that's just, the list is cool until you like meet that person. Yeah. A few things on the list, yeah, maybe, but the whole
The
list.
key thing is, do you give yourself the opportunity to actually meet the person? But that's a different subject. Denise, go ahead.
That's a different subject.
I cannot be with an atheist. And let me tell you why. Because when the rubber meets the road and it gets real, and I don't know what else to do, I need to know I can go to my man and we can pray together. We ain't even got to be praying to the same God. I don't care. We just need to call on somebody. Like but if you just don't believe at all, and I'm over here, God, I need you to work a miracle, and you just like, bruh, it's not gonna, it don't even exist. I can't do nothing with that. I can't
Wow,
do nothing with that.
Denise, I don't. This is something I did not think about. If I was a woman, I probably would not be able to date or marry an atheist. If I was a woman, because then I'm subject underneath that person, and then I would have to follow the lead. Now, Ivory, that's where it go back to when you were talking about the Holy Spirit, and I have to be subject to a person that's not being led by the Spirit. No, you now. Now I see.
Could not. I
If
could
I
not. I
was a
could be with
woman, I
a. I
wouldn't
could
be
be
able
with
to
a
be
Christian.
with.
I could be with a religious man. I could not be with a religious man. I couldn't be with a Christian man. I could not be with a religious man.
And Nikki, so
Like
Nikki, I
you.
see it now, Nikki, because that's not your area. That's not where you go. And if you're going to be either, I don't know if you subject under or co-partner and whatever, then that's a difference. If a man has that type of say so, then yeah, that would be hard. I wasn't even thinking about that from y'all
Hey,
perspective.
I dropped out. Are we still on the sexually attraction portion,
No.
or we segue? We
We done
segue to
moved
something else.
on. We done
Okay.
moved on to religion. Okay, Nikki, could
Okay.
you be with a man who was Christian who didn't push his Christianity on you? He was like, I'm doing this is what I'm doing over here. You can do whatever you're gonna do over there. This is what I'm doing over here.
No.
I mean,
Or not.
in all honesty, most of the men that I've been with in my life, well, no, my kid's dad, not so much. And it's one of the reasons why I think we got along so well in our theories is because we didn't subscribe to, and he comes from a huge Bible beating family. But most of the men that I've talked to, with the exception of him, have certainly had a born and bred in the church kind of background. And it's them that have the problem with me, more so me that has the problem with them. But there would be parts of me that would have issues with, how are we going to raise our kids? What are we going to tell them, right? How deeply do you believe, right? Is this just something for you that is a guide? Is this something for you that is a motivation thing, right? Or is this really something that you believe that if I don't do XYZ, that when it comes time for judgment day, there's two places I'm going to go, and that's the end of the story. Like, I personally would, I couldn't, I couldn't, because I so strongly do not believe in any of that I would be looking at my man like.
Listen.
So I don't. I'm okay
If
with
you can't
spirit.
be with
I'm okay
somebody
with
who got the
heart.
vaccines, you definitely ain't gonna be with nobody who
Yeah,
religious.
no,
And
no.
He didn't even make you get the vaccine. He just got the jab, and you like, nah.
And I tried, right? Like I was talking to this guy for a long time who, comes from a very religious family, and he's very God-centered, and that's cool, right? I think as our relationship has also grown, he's learned that there's other ways that you can love. You can love a higher power. You can love a creator greater than ourselves, right? You can love somebody outside of, like, I think that as our relationship has grown, he's also learned that there's other ways that you can have a relationship with God outside of just going to church, right? But he also still stated, he was like, I could never like be with you. He's like, you don't even go to church. I was like, I'll go if you want me to go. But you don't want me to go because this is not what I want to do.
Right.
Like, let's go to, there's so many ways that we can worship, right? I feel like there's so many ways we can worship, right? Let's worship with, like you said, Denise, eating fucking healthy. Let's worship with not drinking
That's
alcohol.
true.
Let's worship with making good decisions in our relationship. Let's worship with having discipline. Let's worship ourselves, right? Let's treat ourselves like God. Let's treat ourselves the way that we're supposed to be treating each other. And then we can talk about, somebody else leading me down a path. No, me first.
Hey, I'm sorry, Nikki. Go ahead, finish up.
So I mean, just I wouldn't look at him as less than, because I don't think that would be fair. But I don't think that he ultimately would end up being okay with me, because I'm very strong in where I stand about how I feel about that, and I don't want him to feel uncomfortable or feel some type of way. I'd get married in a church if that's what you want to do, like all those things, right? But like, I'm not gonna subscribe.
I was gonna
Since
say
we're on the
there's a lot of
topic of
Christians
religion,
that I couldn't be with.
Do what?
I was gonna say there's a lot of Christians that I couldn't be with.
Oh, for sure.
A whole lot of Christians. I would have a harder time being with
Whole lot of.
a hard cold Christian than I would someone who's more agnostic. Because my mentality leans more, almost kind of more agnostic than it does them hardcore Christians. I couldn't. I see a lot of people that's hardcore. I'm like, oh no, I couldn't ever be with you. That wouldn't work.
since we're on the topic of religion, let me throw something y'all way real quick, a scenario. So that's because that's what we're on in regards to would you be with somebody in a relationship? So let's say you have people that are in a relationship with two different beliefs.
We
Somebody
can hear
mentioned
you.
children. I forgot who. Can you hear me? Hello?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Okay.
I was trying to anticipate what you said. Well, can you hear me? But
Oh,
go
you
ahead. I'm
trying?
back.
Oh, okay. Okay. He messed with me. All right. So you have people with two different beliefs that's in the same household or whatnot. And children get involved. Would that be an issue there in regards to teaching children two different beliefs? Because you do have real life situations where you do have parents that are different beliefs, but a lot of the times, more times than not, it ends in divorce or it doesn't work out. So, give me your thoughts on that type of scenario since we're talking about, you know, not want to be with somebody based on religious preference and things like that.
Let me
Anybody who
just,
tries
I'm
to
sorry, let
force
me,
anything would be hard for me because I'm not a person. I don't even force religion on my own children. So anybody who is kind of take that mindset, it would be hard for me to be with them. I talk to them, I explain certain things, but I don't even force religion on my own children. So it wouldn't work for somebody else who had that mindset. What are you saying? I'm sorry, somebody else, Denise.
I was gonna say my high school, I think senior year, like my first love, as people say, I don't say that no more, but was Muslim. He was a Muslim,
I
and
remember.
but like not a black Muslim. Like he was from Pakistan, like Muslim. Not saying the black Muslims aren't Muslims, but y'all know what I'm saying. I'm just clarifying. Um, and I told him we couldn't have children. We
Damn.
talking about like, oh, we're gonna be together, and I'm like, yeah. And he was like, kids. I'm like, I would never have children with you. Like, he was
Damn.
like, why? I'm like,
Stepped
we
on me.
have two. I said we have two different faiths, and I'm gonna want to practice my faith, and of course you're gonna want to practice your own faith, and I would never bring children up in that type of confusion. I was telling him this at 17, so I'm 10 toes deep now. But I'm like, this is me at 17. I would never bring children into that type of confusion. So no, you do you, I'll do me, and we'll love each other. And like I had a whole little plan. So I'm glad that didn't work out. But I'm just saying that was my take even as a kid. Like don't do that to kids. So.
I wouldn't mind it as long as the other person, like Q, like as long as the other person's not forcing their jam. I'm not going to force my jam. We can present what we have. This is what we like to do. And even if I'm with another Christian person, I still don't want to force that. It's like, hey, this is what I do. This is what I believe. This is what works for me. I'm not going to make you be this way, because at the end of the day, every person is going to go through this process where no matter what your grandma taught you, your mama taught you, your whoever taught you, you're going to have to find God for yourself if that's what you eventually land on. And that's just the journey you have to go through. So before I force this on you and make you think you know, I'd rather you kind of like go through your journey on your own and decide on your own.
Well, Denise, think about this. When you were saying that, it was like I was thinking like people don't realize this, but a large reason why you like me has to do with my faith. Even though I'm not pressing it upon you, a large reason why I like you has to do with your belief system. And that's even if you're atheist like Nikki. Why would somebody be like, oh, I like Nikki, I like your conversation, I'm attracted to you? Well, her belief system plays a big role in why and how she is who she is. Why would you try to get in and then try to change that? And you just think automatically that they're going to be a better person. You may not like if Nikki turned into a hardcore Christian, you might not like her as much.
Yo, if Nikki, oh my God, Nikki would be the worst. Think about it. Take Nikki's personality and then apply it to like a hardcore Christian. She would be on our butts like no other.
So what does that tell you? What does that tell you? What does that tell you? I love that Q said years ago. He's like, Nikki's one of the best non-Christian Christians I ever met. You goddamn right.
Absolutely. So is. So is.
So I mean, you know, and I think for me, and I don't want to even say that I'm atheist because I don't know, right? Like I could probably lean more with agnostic because I just don't acknowledge an official story, but I don't deny the existence of something. I don't, and I'm not gonna sit up here and say I know what it is because I don't. But so for me, I think it would really have to be obviously how this person practices, right? Is your love of God because you love people and you love the story of light and you love the story of love and you love the story of unity and you love the story of peace, right? Or is it out of condemnation? Is it out of oppression? Is it out of fucking fear mongering? Is it out of control? Is it out of indoctrination? Yeah, get that away from me. Because principally, theoretically, psychologically, we are really going to have a hard time with each other. And I know that. I know that. So
the only way that you acknowledge God is by acknowledging the God of the Bible. Yeah, we probably not gonna mesh because I can't remember if that was you or Denise was saying that like, oh, we're gonna eat right together. That's a form of worship. Nikki, yeah, that's absolutely 100% a form of worship.
Right.
When you're taking care of your temple and you worship, worth, and ship, the establishment of value. If you value your body, then you're gonna invest in it properly, and let's do it together. All of those. If you pay attention to nature, if you protect the environment, if you protect the rights of human beings, all of these are forms of and attributes of God. So if the only God that you see is just the God in the Bible, then yeah, me and you probably ain't gonna get along because I see God in everything.
That part. And I like that you said that. I like that you said it that way, Q, because I think for me that is one of my greatest issues with the conversation, of course, of religion, is that a lot of people who swear that they are of the religious space don't act the way that I think that they should based on what's written, right? So I can very much respect somebody who lives life God-like, or as, the 12 steps are always taught, the God as you understand. It doesn't have to be the same one that I got or this person or that person. It's however the fuck you believe, right? However that works for you at that moment. I can get with that over the alternative. But I think it would still be, I think that my strong beliefs would probably end up being a problem for that person more than the other way around.
That'd be funny to see Nikki be a Christian. You hooking out woods, you could do it. You hooking out woods. I'm not discouraging you, by the way, Nick.
Baby, you already know when Judgment Day comes, I'm not afraid. Y'all know where I'm going. I'm going to the fight. I'm going to the barbecue for sure.
The biggest contributor to the Bible itself was the biggest anti-Jesus person around. That was Paul, and he ended up becoming. Anyway, you hooking out? What was you about to ask?
Well, I was going to say something because I think it was Denise that said something, and in regard to the children, as far as teaching them, because you know, I don't want, and I didn't want to segue out to, of your hosting duties, but children are the intricate part of a relationship, the relationship dynamic between a man and a woman, and spirituality is a big part of that. So if you're teaching two children two different beliefs and whatnot, or if you're not, or have them come into their own, then what are you going to teach them in that aspect if you have people that are together with two different beliefs and you have children now, because you have to teach them something. You have to teach them some type of moral, some type of spiritual development or spiritual maturity. So what would that be, or what would be the common denominator if both people, and let's say for conversation's sake, that both of them believe in the same, book, but they have, different denomination. What would be the common denominator?
An atheist kid.
I don't think that there has to be some common denominator. I
I
think
agree with you, Hukanan, on this one.
I think this the fact that I think you're showing your kid a lot by saying, hey, we're two people who love each other, who don't necessarily agree on everything, but we're able to find common ground. And I think it's rare that you even find that being an option. And I think just giving them their free will to make their own decisions, but showing and presenting things to them, they may be able to look and go, oh, hey, like I say this all the time when I was in college and I had to write my comparison contrast essay, and I did Christianity versus Buddhism, and there were a lot of things that looked like some stuff I've seen in Psalms before,
Hmm.
in the Buddhist teachings. But it just goes to show like there's a lot of commonality, and there's less to actually fight about when you do take your time to check out what somebody else has going on. So I think it would
Right.
be a bigger lesson to show them that we can be different and coexist.
And I think there's two things. There's a difference with maybe two people practicing religions that kind of go not the same direction. There's a difference between not going the same direction and being in opposition. So, say for instance, if you met somebody who was Catholic, they ain't the same two religions, but they're not in opposition to one another. Now, if you go, if I say I want to be a Christian and then I find a devil worshiper, no, that's kind of in opposition a little bit. I don't think that's gonna work.
Yeah, that won't work for me. I will
For
say that
instance,
that won't work for me.
and even just on a friendship level, Nikki and I, we don't believe the same on, but there's a difference. Like I said, um, we're not in opposition.
Right.
There are things that we still have similar morals, we have similar belief systems, we have similar ways that we think that you should take care of your children as well as just people in general. So yeah, you don't have to go, but now in opposition, if somebody's opposing what you do and how you do it, they're probably not going to work the same way. That's number one. And then real quick, number two, about the children aspect where Yuhukanan and Ivory was talking about. For me, I ain't gonna speak for everybody. For me, like I said, I don't force religion on my children, but I think if you set the right example and they see that you are a person of character and they see that you're upstanding, you're not afraid to apologize and to be responsible and accountable, the attributes that they admire in you, they will also want to tap into what causes you to be the type of person that you are.
The only thing I would say is, in my experience, from just looking at those
Ooh,
type of relationships,
I'm about to cross you real
when
quick.
there,
Ivory. Go
okay,
ahead.
when there is a believing parent and maybe a more agnostic or unbelieving parent, or there's two very opposed religions, normally children in those situations end up with a lot of just non-belief altogether. Um, and if you're a non-believing person, that works for you, right? That you kind of have set your children up for non-belief. But as a believing person, I don't want to set my children up for non-belief. So I wouldn't want to put them in that situation, which I know typically sets children up for non-belief.
I don't think so. I don't. It's not.
I'm telling you my experience of watching children in those situations. They normally turn out agnostic.
After I say what I'm about to say, then tell me if that's what you're
I
talking
told
about.
you.
No. It's
That's
after I
not
told
what I
you.
want. So I
Because you
wouldn't do
and I
that.
had this conversation not long ago, just actually a week or two ago. But again, even what draws most people as adults to any type of religion or belief system is the witness of the person that they see operating. If they see somebody walking in good character and being up, then they look, the light that person carries is the attractive force or the draw and pull. Say, hey, I'm stressed out, I got anxiety, I'm depressed, I don't know what's going on in my life. You always seem like you happy and you got, even I know you got issues too, but you seem like you got it. What, why, how? And then you're able to tell them or show them because you've already set the example for. Now, Ivy, what I was gonna say with you, we was having this conversation about how do some kids seem like they just go wayward and whatever.
That's a different
You
type
and
of
I both had
conversation.
this. You and I both had this conversation to where,
With our mother.
the parents was saying that they believe this and this and that, but then you go to their house and they act like all hell. The parent at
Yes,
church
that's
was
it.
totally different from the parent that was at the house. And even my parents sometime would ask, like, what happened to
What
such and
happened to
such and
their
such and
kids? And
such?
we
Why
like,
all
you
the
never
kids
went to their
gone?"
house. We
I'm
went
like,
to their house.
you seen them when they showed up at church. We was actually at their house when they wasn't there, and the parents
And
was
it was a mess.
it was a hot mess. So
I'm
with
I'm
us
actually
seeing why
not.
they was a hot mess, we saw how the kids ended up how they ended up.
That's actually, I'm not talking about that particular example, because I do think if you don't live a principled life, it's going to show up in your children. I even outside of religion, like these people we're talking about, parents were living unprincipled lives and then wondering why their children
But
is
not just that,
in jail
Ivory.
and dying
Hold
and
on,
stuff. There,
Ivory.
you
I
live
know
in a out of control. But
I know
no,
where
let
you
me
about to
finish.
go, but let
Okay.
me go a little bit further than that.
Okay.
Because even you saying they live in an unprincipled life, but they're doing it still under the banner of this Christian holier than I
Yeah,
type. Well,
of
then what it
course.
does
That's
is
a
it
mess.
pushes the kids further away from that thing that they say that, because it's like, you trying to tell me how to be good and this and this and that, and you not. So
But
matter of fact,
listen,
I don't want to
no.
have
So
anything to do with this type of religion that you're talking about. 'Cause
let's
obviously it
use
don't
let's
work for you.
use the example you brought up of our grandparents. Then
Okay.
let's just use that example. You have two people living a very principled life. Some of the best people you'll ever know.
Ooh, I
One
know
of
you about to
them,
go. Go ahead.
okay. One
I
of
got you.
them is very committed in church, lives what she preaches at home. It's very obvious. The other person is not about the God stuff, but super principled, all about people, loves people. These are both good people.
It's a good
They are
example.
both extremely good examples for their children. And
Right.
their children turn out to be great people. But their children don't mess with God. Why? Because I look up to my father and he did not find that necessary.
That is true.
Do you think
Yeah,
it would matter if it was the mother versus the father?
I don't know. I
I
just,
think it does. I think it does. And I think
It's
because then
hierarchy of
even
religion, it does.
yeah, I think the especially when you're talking about boys, they are going to pattern after their father, um, more so than they will the mother.
I'm just
And
saying
yeah, you
that's
may I
the,
knew I saw the point you was going, and all of my uncles, yeah, they don't mess with God like that. And my mom is the only one that does. So
But again, that was not an uncommon dynamic, for them at their age growing up. The men didn't generally subscribe, but the women sure as heck did.
Really quick,
yeah,
in regards to the children aspect of it and teaching them, these principles, it falls more so on the one who's teaching them, i.e., the parent or the adult, in regards to how they're going to end up or the type of behavior that they have, because children are like sponges and they mimic what they see or what they hear. So when you expose your children to certain things, they're going to think that's okay, but it's up to us. Well, here's the word. I'll just sum it up like this: stewards, stewardship. even though we are, have a certain belief and we can be stewards to others, the first stewards that we need to be stewards of is the ones that's in the home, which is our children that we see on a daily basis.
Absolutely.
Therefore, they can be easily manipulated
True.
by any stretch of the imagination. If we are not on our, on our, for lack of a better word, shit, they can, veer to the right, to the left based on, whatever principles that we taught them, and they fall off of those, or they forget, or whatever the case may be. So, it falls more so on the stewards of the parents as far as teaching the children and keeping them in line in regards to them being obedient versus disobedient.
Yeah. There's a difference between a child that admires you, looks up to you, and patterns themselves after you versus a child that has learned to be compliant. Sometimes children, while you're young and kids doing what you want, they're being compliant because they don't have a choice. And those are the ones you see when they get to a certain age and they become adults. Then, yeah, they go a totally different direction because they're like everybody's been saying, the example wasn't really set. They just learned how to comply.
That's where you taught them how to be a hypocrite. You taught them that their word doesn't matter.
True.
You taught them that you can talk out one side of your neck and do something else, and no one's going to correct you. I think that I have a girlfriend of mine. Her and her husband were together. They've been together since damn near high school, and we're all 47 to 50 at this age, so they've been together a long time. They've got 3 kids, just like me. All of our kids are almost the same age, all 3 of them. And I want to say it was like maybe 7 years, 10 years into their marriage, he jumped ship and he began his journey with Islam. And, so he's been a part of the nation now. Shit, our kids at that time were 3. The girls are now going to be 29 this year. So, I mean, we're talking about 25, 7, pushing 30 years that they've been married, her as a Christian and him as a Muslim, daughter, 2 sons. And, they definitely had their challenges in the very beginning, with which way are we going to go with this? Who's right, who's wrong, right? But then as time goes on, you realize that's not what they did, right? Like him as the father, him as the leader, and he's a very dominant person in the family dynamic anyways. Like, they still gave all of the kids the option to figure out what works best for you. And dad was with the shits. I mean, if it was time to pray, he'd put down the carpet and, he was on his knees. It didn't matter. So it wasn't like I'm only going to be, Muslim when it's convenient, or I'm only going to practice Islam when it's convenient. He was 100% with it, and he has maintained that ever since then. Right. And I don't think that any of their kids necessarily, have a specific belief per se, but I totally applaud and congratulate and love the way that they did that. They were able to manage to stay together, dividing their religious beliefs, and then raise 3 children in the same household with the option of, you choose what works for you. Like, I'm not going to force you to do either of these. You don't have to believe anything, but you are going to behave like a proper son, proper daughter, like a proper member of society, like a proper member of the family. Like, you are going to have principles that you're going to follow. And I always loved that about them, right? So I love always being in situations around, non-traditional religious relationships and marriages and families and situations to really see how that is blended in different dynamics. Because I'm quite sure that that's very, very difficult for people who are of strong faith. You almost probably have to have similar as opposed to the alternative.
Right. All right. Wait, we're at 134 right now. I saw we went so long into this. I ain't even jump into the online dating part of it.
We
We might have to
didn't. We
save
did
that.
not.
I knew that on purpose because I'm like, if we do it now, we ain't gonna have enough time to really dig into it. So that's something that we can entertain. I don't know, man. Maybe next week, maybe another time. Or you know what? Actually, I'm gonna be gone. I'll be in Dallas next week. Now that I think about it. But what I think Denise had a good. We got some good ideas.
Great.
Well,
Denise been
coming in the
shooting
next couple of
ideas
weeks.
out left and right, y'all. She must got albums on the way because that Mojo Jojo is working.
No, and you come up having a good conversation, I'll go, "Ooh, we can talk about this in 3 years."
I just be sending little randoms and shit. I'm like, it's just a thought. I gotta share it with you before I lose it. So we've got some great conversations coming up.
Yeah, Nikki and Denise, y'all decide if y'all want to, keep it going tomorrow. Then I mean next week. Then absolutely do it. I think it's some good stuff.
Okay.
I might be able to peek in. I won't be able to fully participate, but I may be able to peek in still.
Okay. I do want to get into the dynamics of how to meet people, where to meet people, the dating aspect online, because that's kind of where it went last week is, the authenticity of online dating versus meeting somebody in person. And we'll probably pick it up the next week and finish out the topic.
That'd be good.
Yeah,
I agree.
So y'all make sure that you join us next week, and we'll talk about like the online dating side to this, or just non-traditional ways to meet people. How do you meet people? How are you meeting people in 2025? Like definitely want to keep that going.
Anybody have any last thoughts before we get out of here? And I mean last thoughts. I don't mean another question. Try to spark up conversation for another 20 minutes.
No last thoughts. My birthday's on Friday.
Y'all be trying to keep the party going sometime.
Happy birthday.
Early birthday. Party time.
Thank you.
Happy birthday. Party time.
Yeah.
I will be 47 years old on Friday. That's weird to me.
Oh, wow.
47 years young.
47. It's weird. All I know is turning 50. I'm so happy that like today's 50 is not like when we were growing up. 50.
Yesterday's 50. Yeah.
No, I'm so glad it's this year's 50. I got some time to go from officially old. But no, that's it. So we will see y'all next Tuesday. Make sure that you follow the pages, check out any of the past content on our YouTube channel, subscribe, share, subscribe, share. And thanks y'all for joining us tonight. It was good to chat with everybody tonight. Don't forget to join us in the comments. We appreciate y'all for being there. We'll see y'all next Tuesday.
Peace out.